Alright, today we're going to learn about measures of dispersion. Dispersion is the mean or median, is when in a data set the mean or median only describes the center of the data. So what about the spread of the data? Once you have the standard deviation, you can compare it in two or more dispersions. So how do you find the standard deviation? The standard deviation is the square root of the variance. And the variance is found by using the data you have and performing some equations. So here, for our sample data set, we have the distance past the pin for golf approach shots in feet. Our x is our distances. We have 7 feet, 13, 6, 14, 10, and 10 feet. So first, let's find the range. Our furthest was 14, closest was 16, so 14 minus 6 is going to give us 8 for our range. Now that's just a sample of one measure of dispersion. Range gives you the distance between the largest and the smallest data point in your set. Now we'll go on to the mean deviation, which is the sum. Well, before we can do that, we need to add up x, which comes to 34. No, that's not possible. I didn't write it down. Well, quick math. 7 and 13 is 20, and 6 is 26, and 14 is 40, 50, 60. And then we divide that by the number of data points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Divided by 6 gives us 10 for our average. So the average distance of shots from the pin will be 10 from this group of data. Now that we have our average, we can go ahead and find the mean deviation. So we say 7 minus 10 equals 3, 13 minus 10 also equals 3. Actually, 7 minus 10 would be negative 3. 6 minus 10 equals negative 4. 14 minus 10 equals 4. 10 minus 10 equals 0. 10 minus 10 equals 0. Alright, and now we square these numbers. Negative 3 squared is 9. 3 squared is 9. Negative 4 squared is 16. 4 squared is 16. 0 and 0, and total these up. 16 and 16 is 32, and 18 is 50. And then continuing with the variance, we have the sum of our data points, subtracting the average squared, divided by number of data points, 6, gives us 8.3. So simply following this equation, now to find our standard deviation, all we need to do is find the square of our variance. And the square of 8.3 gives us 2.88. So, what's a standard deviation mean? Standard deviation is a measurement. And within 3 standard deviations of the mean, 99.7% of all data will be covered from the set. So, in a normally distributed amount of data, it will follow this type of curve. Here we have 10 as our middle, as our mean. And then from there, we add 2.88, giving us 12.88, 15.76, and then 18.64. And then works the same way on the other side. Simply subtract 2.88 from the mean, giving you 7.12, 4.8, 1.24, and then finally 1.36. So this will be the first standard deviation. From here to here is 1. 68% of the values will fall within 1 standard deviation of the mean. That's 1 standard deviation. And then within 2 standard deviations, 95% of data will fall within 2 standard deviations. And finally, for 3 standard deviations from the mean, 99.7% of all data from the set will fall within that 3 standard deviations from the mean. That's about it. Thanks for watching.